We'll see if some of these bans do kind of switch up here. The Talia noticeably not taken away.
We
here
want
Talia.
Talia's got to be banned here by EDG. You're choosing between banning Talia or banning Vi. As I think that's the gambit being dropped. Ultra Prime taking away 3 mid laners that I will say Talia doesn't really like to see. So any other mid laners you can think of, Grapes, that absolutely hates seeing a control mage on the other side? I don't think we're really picking Vex, personally, you know, but if we're setting up for a Vex, these are not bad bans. Yeah, Talia taken away. Here comes the Vi.
Yep. And we'll see what it gets paired up alongside it here. Angel, as we mentioned, really good at these push and roam style champions. I think Saber has a bit more of a flexible style, but you know, can go more into some of these assassins as well. Don't know how necessarily well that works with a Vi in particular, so curious to see how the mid jungle lines up for Ultra Prime specifically. And now for EDG, of course, gonna have to go down that champion pool tier list a little bit, with this being that fearless format. Trundle, a solid answer into the Vi. You're gonna be able to outduel her, especially pre-6. I would not be surprised if that gets locked in for Xiaohao.
I gotta say, man, I think Vi's really fallen. I know that the R key is still really clutch and competitive. Just having that point and click is big. Vi for me is just not the same champion anymore. Solo Q currently in this patch sitting at a 48% win rate, Emerald Plus globally. Definitely have seen a lot of nerfs come through that have really hurt Vi. So far, I like what EDG is showing with the Trundle and that Aurora with all the mid laners missing. Aurora doesn't like seeing Orianna or Victor on the other side either, so I think this is a good opportunity for Angel to make his mark in this game.
Could always flex up to the top side as well, depending on what the matchup looks like for ZDZ. Yeah. But we are expecting this one to go towards Angel in mid. Saber, now it's a chance to match up here, finish off that mid-jungle 2v2. Gonna be the Galio locked in for himself.
Dude.
He's really gonna have to see some damage on either Zhang or Baiye for this Ultra Prime composition to work out.
Galio hates his life in the Trundle, man. I am not a fan of this Ultra Prime draft so far. The pillars, the subjugate, definitely tools that Galio doesn't like to see. We'll say that Lucian is a really nice pairing, or AD to play in the Trundle, if that ends up being the case, but given that no pairings can be locked in with Lucian now, likely to have him drop in priority will just be that Ambessa. So another R key to try and get that Galio into the backline here going up against EDG.
We'll see what EDG wants to line up here.
Dude, just play Poppy, man.
I imagine ZDZ is going to want to find a counter here, make sure he does not get targeted in the second phase. You think Poppy, you think it's enough damage here on that top side if that gets locked in?
I like Renekton here too, but I think that Poppy, you can actually flex it between top and support, and it's pretty lit here. I think Poppy is actually still really valuable for EDG. I'd recommend banning it if I'm Ultra Prime, especially if I'm... I mean, I will say that two of the better support matchups for Poppy, it is Alistar and Rel, so both of them being off the table. I do think that Poppy falls in priority a little bit, but having Poppy going up against Divine Ambessa does feel pretty good.
The top sides of the map have been secured as we head into that second phase. Solution was hovered by Ultra Prime, but now will no longer be selected. As we continue to move down this tier list, the Varus, of course, has been big just throughout the meta as a whole. Things like Ezreal and Ashe now starting to pop up maybe in terms of priority. We also saw Jinx really have a big rise in power once we got to MSI.
Caitlyn?
Mostly on the LCK teams, but you know, I'm sure either of these AD carries are going to be able to play that one as well.
Would have actually really liked a Caitlyn ban coming out from EDG because the ability to set up traps with the Galio is quite easy, as the Ezreal and the Xayah being taken away to try and get out of the dive coming in. And we'll see what On wants to rock here, as I think there's an opportunity for Jhin, but can still be overwhelmed. Oh, Senna to buff up that front line. I wouldn't mind either. Corki interacts really well with everything showing so far. Do like what On is showing. Yeah, can't play that one quite yet. But a good tease there. Okay, Corki. I mean, Corki really likes his life right now. He can interact very well with everything showing. That is a blind, so of course Ultra Prime has the ability to lock in some range. I would really like Jhin in trying to help control the terrain.
Corki's On's most played champion in 2025 this season so far. You know, EDG has had some ups and downs, so the record isn't great, but definitely something that they find comfort in. The long distance.
Karma.
Crowd control here for Baiye here, as we'll see what Xiaoxia wants to lock in.
I think Karma could save this draft, because the move speed against Trundle, Renekton, and then also being able to space the Corki is quite nice. So I would really like a Karma here. if I'm Ultra Prime. Rakan's okay, too. Good ability to piggyback off the Vayne Best and the Galio. Set up for a good wombo and definitely be able to leave the Jhin. I think that's fine. But now, likely that you're going to get Brommed or Nautilus. Giving what supports are up and what Parukia wants to play. Also, if you go Rakan, it is one of the better matchups for Poppy that already has a lot of value in this game, Grapes. I would like this quite a bit.
Hey, you wanted to see it maybe as a flex pick on R3, but if it's still open on R5, maybe just take it here for Parukia. Everyone except for Jhin has a dash that can be canceled by that steadfast presence. And again, another thing that we've seen Poppies be really good at is turning even-numbered fights into advantageous fights with that ultimate ability, sending away a big carry around a crucial objective fight. So EDG overall, I think their competition is just a little bit more balanced. And
I like it a lot.
Prime, I'm very concerned as to where their damage is, especially until this Jhin comes online, starts to get some of those items in.
I think Renekton is relatively happy this game. Being able to interact with that front line. I mean, Jin's the only thing that you're really concerned about. And honestly, as you said, Grapes, it takes a little bit of time to get going. Trundle also very happy this game. Poppy can really hold the line, and then Corki gets to interact well with pretty much everything except the Jhin. I think the reach of Jin's nice, but it's definitely going to have to use those R keys well for Ultra Prime early on. And even if they are able to use those R keys well, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. I really prefer what EDG is looking at right now.
Because even if you land all the crowd control in the world, if you don't have the damage to like take like one of these main carries down, you know, Aurora gets rather tanky as we get later into this game. That's going to be a big problem here for Ultra Prime. I can see that maybe popping up. It's going to have to be a snowbally game for them if they want to have enough damage to get themselves to the finish line in this one and have themselves an opportunity to send things to a game 3. As it's kind of an opposite situation from game number 1, where they were the ones last time around to have to scale.
Oh, I apologize for the yawn. I'm not off camera yet. A little bit late here with doing double duty between NACL and LPL, but excited to be joined by you for this one, Grapes, and excited to see if EDG can clean up a 2-0 on getting word from production and our LPL production chat. Trying to find a 2-0 for Xiaohao's birthday, as it is his birthday on the Rift for this one.
Okay, happy birthday to Xiaohao. Didn't know that.
Me neither. Not until I checked her Discord. Shout out to our team behind the scenes. And Kai, who does speak some Mandarin, which is very useful over here on the LPL English broadcast.
If Kai was not helping us out with some of these pronunciations, we'd be getting some even more comments about it in the chat.
We look way worse than we already do, Grapes. It would not be good.
Yeah, so shout out to him for that one. As see right now, EDG going for a bit of an invade. I'm gonna say it again, Cubby. The Gyos weren't really there just yet. I feel like these guys are maybe waiting for top East.
I hope so. That's a pretty fun one to kick off the day, especially with potential for Wei to sub in throughout that series. As we will see what ends up happening with the IG jungle situation and how that impacts the looming VLG jungle situation.
We're gonna just get it's the story of kind of the league at this point, even though they're not playing for a while. Like it's just so entertaining.
The BOG jungle spot is like the Undertaker, you know? You never know when it's going to come out and snipe your jungler from the team, your other teams in the LPL. I've already had 2 elite references to that tonight. Anyway, let's return to this one. Trundle did start on the red buff, whereas Vi was starting with the E start on the Wolves. As early heal burn to try and find a double Q for Parukia. Doesn't exactly connect, but like the idea. Do have a spellbook for XiaoXia here on the bot side on the Rakan, as of course spellbook gained a lot of popularity after the buffs in MSI. Definitely one that a lot of our players are using and abusing now. Shout out to Jamada, fellow LPL enthusiast, for a really nice video on that. As, oh boy, this is spotted, and Xiaohao wins these.
And remember, the big goal here of this Trundle
Look
in the
at
early
Vi
game
run.
is to just out-duel the Vi. You land just a couple of chomps, it becomes all too easy. But now Parukia going on to this Jhin. Doesn't even flash away. Rookie on rookie violence will go EDG's way.
Oh, Parukia actually found the double Q there. And of course, Trundle now with the red buff, the PTA.
Oh,
yeah,
PTA.
We did say that Trundle wins these. He gets the...
Oh,
yep,
the flash
that's the kill.
autos. 2-0 in less than 3 minutes right now for Edward Gaming.
Oh, it's brutal. It's a disaster all over the Rift. Xiaohao, happy birthday, man. Finds the second kill. Gonna take a Raptor camp early on, too. And you can see Junhao, he's jittering a bit in his seat, rightfully so, as, again, I'm shocked that Baiye is just not dead. Oh, we had another kill? Or a potential kill that went down? Rakan did burn flash in the bot side.
Oh, ZDZ and Zhang going at it as well. Zhang with a couple more autos. They both flash away. Oh, we're getting wild here in game 2. These guys just needed a little bit of time to defrost, and now the early game's about to go crazy.
LPL was so back, man. Holy cow. ZDZ not going to wait around to see what happens with that one. Just going to head for the hills as XiaoXia helping Junhao on that camp. Grapes. When is first pick Vi going to die?
It's been around for like kind of years at this point, right? I feel
it needs to die. This patch. This is the patch it dies. Please. Please, 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 please.
Okay, am I wrong in thinking that like it was like maybe like a 5-year window where we like barely saw any Vi, and then after Arcane came out, it's just been like in the meta ever since?
I am not. I do not know. I cannot answer that question for you. As Xiaohao, I will say, showing bot there, does actually open himself up to his respawn camps being taken. This is nice from Junhao, as he's going to be able to snipe at least the Raptors away. We'll see if he goes for the Krugs too. Krugs can be a little bit dangerous. I would actually love if ZDZ, after he gets this wave in, actually goes to check his Krugs on the top side. Because if he were to find Vi there, that would be really big. As, oh boy, we're going to get a replay here.
You know, we don't get the 1v1s for side select anymore, so we got to have some 1v1 action here. And this was just peak top lane gameplay.
Actually didn't love how ZDZ played this one out. I think that there was no W up. And so, yeah, with that being burned so early, trading pretty heavily like that, it was able to get around the Q2, but it has a worse base earlier on, which is not good for Renekton. Of course, getting that phage can be really important for a lot of matchups, including this one. That bonus move speed really big for getting more auto attacks down and keeping that Fury up, which of course empowers all of Renekton's abilities and is a big part of his kitten power.
And, you know, even though he didn't get the kill, he stayed even with Zhang in that 1v1, and that's all that he needs to do at this point, because EDG are winning on all other facets of the map. They're going to pick up this dragon, add to that over 1,000 gold lead that they have collected for themselves. I mean, they're winning in the mid lane, would have that push in the range versus melee. They're winning in the jungle, obviously, as we saw. In the bot lane, where we saw that first blood get picked up for On. It is going all Edward Gaming's way in game 2.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is just off of the Trundle versus Vi matchup and that one sneaky ward being dropped. I mean, Junhao has caught back up in terms of XP, but it's been Xiaohao that has had a bigger impact early on. As that dragon has been secured, and look at this roam from the Rook and Parukia. Heading up here with the Trundle, trying to find that Ambessa at 6. This is a really powerful window for Renekton. I think they can get Zhang here if they are able to play this one well, even with that Poppy being level 3. I'm wondering what ability they're waiting for here. Okay.
Next flash in. Zhang already using the dash pillar,
Ooh,
not finding the stun. That would have been a really nice usage of that jungle support synergy there. You see the vision, just not able to be fully up.
I like that idea. I think that pillar was actually kind of on Xiaohao for dropping it. I'd rather drop that south, so below the Ambessa. I think where he dropped it, Ambessa was able to path down and actually get out of the E from Poppy. But you can see the potential for that combo as we have to look out for that one later on.
It's like when you see those like old League montages from like 2018 where you played like Poppy and Nivea bot lane and you just have the constant wall stun. It's a little bit harder to execute, but that's the vision right now that Parukia and Xiaohao were able to try and accomplish up there on the top side. Seeing some more trades here from the Poppy, popping that steadfast presence to make sure that Junhao cannot go forward. Looks like he's going to be out scot-free.
The chattest level 3 Poppy I've ever seen. Who needs experience, man? Just give your team all the solo experience and try and beat Poppy. Yeah, he doesn't even need level 4. He's like, I'm in a base. I'm down almost a full level to my opponent. It does not matter. I actually really did like that look on the top side, even if it didn't connect for EDG. I think that's the right window to try and help the Renekton in that Ambessa matchup with the Trundle and the Poppy as well. So I do appreciate the idea. Sometimes we can live with the execution not being there if the idea is good, as Coach Cubby used to always say.
You know, it's still early for these teams, and specifically for Parukia, right? Like, first game ever, first series ever in the LPL at Tier 1. Only played like 4 games in the Asian Masters tournament, so really just getting his feet wet in the competitive landscape. And so seeing him be willing to go for these aggressive plays, obviously we don't know 100% if he's the one calling for them or if it's more likely, you know, somebody like Xiaohao or Angel making the plays, but here he is, back to the top side of the map now. Zhang while he was targeted, did not use his flash or
waiting.
the public execution, so he should be rather safe. But again, it's just the thought that we are respecting here for this rookie on EDG.
I will say the thought of being down level 3 to level 5 does not thrill me as grub spawn. So I feel like Parukia might have, we might have flown a little bit too close to the sun in terms of the roaming. That said, this will get him level 4. So we help him take some of these grubs, should be okay. And that Trundle is still not one that you can fight, and this is why I did not love the draft for Ultra Prime, because when you first pick the Baiye, you give away the Trundle, and you pick stuff like Galio into it, it does feel like kind of a self-counter in order to get the comp going. So Trundle going to have a lot of value this game. And Xiaohao far enough ahead, we're just with the Phage and the members showing on the top side. They will sack a little bit of farm going over to the Jhin, but it is 3 grubs secured for EDG as they get the second monster objective cleanly for themselves.
They've maintained this gold lead of about 1,000, and now picking up, you know, some of these extra feats of strength. One more kill, one more monster, and they should be getting those upgraded boots as well. Looks like we got a little bit of a unlucky situation there here for Baiye.
No, that's what we call a Jhin. That's a Jhin problem right there. It doesn't exactly get through turrets the fastest, you know.
Not just yet. I mean, it must have been one extra auto.
Yeah, it was a bit of a Jhin problem, sadly. Oh well.
But either way.
Yeah, we'll say inventories does look like it's going to be the Stride Breaker start for ZDZ, not the Black Cleaver. So there is some built-in shred with the Corki E. Wonder if that's part of why it's the Stride Breaker. I do think Stride Breaker Renekton, of course, very valuable. You have a couple options in terms of what you build, and as long as it's not Eclipse first, I'm a pretty happy camper. So see what he can do. Of course, Stride Breaker should be pretty impactful going into 4 melees. As Renekton, a champion that I always like to say somewhat scales off of what he can interact with. And the more melees are in the game, the more fury you're able to stack, the more mileage you get out of your abilities, and the happier Renekton is.
You can think of like the Trundle as well. With that pillar value against 4 melee, or like, I guess 3.5 melees, you're going to be very happy about that. You're going to go on to a range champion though now, as Baiye has been targeted, already using that summoner heal. XiaoXia should doing a nice job. The peel buckler, not enough, as the hero's entrance of Saber actually going to save everybody on Ultra Prime, and now the curtain call has been opened up. It should not be enough damage to take anybody on Edward Gaming down just yet, but they will be able to make sure nobody else dies on the bottom side of the map.
The idea was there from Parukia, you know? The flash buckler would have been a pretty swaggy way to secure a kill on the Poppy. That said, the commitment of members for Ultra Prime to get themselves out of that play does open up some space for On to get some free gold and points for himself. So Parukia not able to find the kill and the gold for himself on the bot side, but was able to secure some gold for his own marksman with the roam of the play down there. As the play continues, and Junhao, I don't think this is a dragon that's yours.
It's his start for now. However, as we say that, Xiaohao and Parukia both making their way in towards the pit. Not enough damage onto that Drake just yet to try to secure it. As already the quickness has been used by XiaoXia.
This is
and
EDG
that dragon
favorite.
is nowhere near getting taken down. Saber going to get targeted. That is going to be the feats of strength picked up here for EDG. They get their 3rd kill. They get their 3rd objective.
I think this game is... Oh, boy.
And now we see XiaoXia stuck on a ward.
Yeah.
Not going to matter, though, as, yeah, there we go. Feats of strength.
Both sums burned. I think this game is kind of showing, if we're going to results-based analysis and hindsight Harry, the last MSI. Look at me go, Grapes. Showing why we saw so many Trundle bans at the event. Because, again, why I wasn't a huge fan of Ultra Prime's draft. Dude, Trundle is so effective this game. Like these early skirmishes where you can drop the chomp, take away the stats, and just be able to, like, raw the duel. It can be so impactful in these early fights, and like that lead we saw him get in the Junhao, it's not even there anymore, but it just doesn't matter. Because when Trundle takes your stats away and is able to actually get autos off and interact, which he can very much do in a melee-heavy composition that Ultra Prime showed early and into the Trundle, it creates problems. And I don't think these are problems that Ultra Prime can solve outside of a Jhin getting big, and Baiye's behind, so that's not good either.
Yeah, and remember, as we kind of mentioned, it feels like with how Ultra Prime's composition is set up, they kind of want to get ahead by just continuing to force plays. And shout out to them, they're going to go for something right now in a Parukia. The Poppy is rather tanky, though, with that Aftershock unlocked. and he is going to escape with his life. Xiaohao doing a good job to buy some space as well with the Pillar of Ice. As EDG's popped dominance, they're going on to XiaoXia. They've taken him down in that mid-tier 1, and EDG have turned the play on its head. Between Worlds comes out. Angel getting some chunk damage on the Baiye. Not going to use the dash to get in underneath that tier 2, but they will certainly pick up yet another tower.
That pillar was so good, it stopped the Justice Punch coming through from Saber and prevented the chain CC to get Parukia out of there. Really good drop by Xiaohao. It will be Zhang proxying a wave in return, but EDG with a huge win here, Grapes. And now Zhang might have to run for the hills. The fact he's cleaning up this wave, there's going to be Parukia being behind him.
Ooh.
He's playing with a vision.
It was the little hesitation there, yeah. I guess they're a little worried about some potential support or their ability to kill Zhang, and hey, Junhao was in the area, so maybe the right call overall, but you see the initiative that EDG is playing with right now. I don't know, Cubby. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen EDG play, but I don't remember Wink going for as much of these wacky plays. It seems like EDG playing with a little bit more, just a little more spunk now with their new support.
We know, Grapes, as developmental casters ourselves, sometimes you have to int to learn, right? Or the best players are the biggest griefers. Like, if you don't... This is my Jojo and Busio argument. Living in the flesh. As Parukia, you know, I will say, I started the series saying that I have a little bit of bias towards this player already, as Parukia was the very first legendary Pokemon that I ever caught. And now you're telling me that he is willing to be level 3 at the grub fight because he's walking around so much and will, like, look for these crazy angles and potentially grief or threaten a grief to win these games? I might have a new favorite player in the league. I'm going to be honest, Graves.
Hey, small sample size, but
he's tugging on all my heartstrings.
He's so far, you know, he has the highest win rate in LPL history. Shout out to the esports garage. Did a bit of a video about that.
Highest MVP rate.
True. Yeah, I mean, he's just the GOAT right now. Limited sample size, 1 game in terms of percentages. You know, it's all about those advanced metrics these days in sports.
Literally just walking up and casting spatial rend on the entire map. Actually, Keeper's Verdict, think about it. It's kind of like Spatial Rend incarnate.
Is this a Pokemon reference? I'm not...
Yes, it's Palkia's signature move.
Okay.
I'm shocked I'm quoting so much Pokemon, by the way. I'm really not a big Pokemon player, but hey. Yeah, we had Summoner Bear last game. Now we've got, you know, more Pokemon references coming out as Riptail looking to be secured. Will be locked up by Ultra Prime. Great Keeper's Verdict.
They actually pick it up. Oh, and the Steadfast Presence. It gets Zhang. And it blocks him away from that other dash. EDG dashing forward, picks him up with the call to make. And EDG adding to their kill counter. It's 5-0.
Galio, my friend, I think you're getting dove. As On is going to go get that wave in. ZDZ is going to cut it for himself and continue to play.
And then it's another beautiful steadfast right to Parukia. Dashes kind of just negated there around that top side. And Ultra Prime thought that they could try to punish off of that Death Brush, but EDG are just too strong.
I really don't know how Ultra Prime is going to get to play this game. They're down to 4.5k gold, and I fear that their sinning draft is being punished to the max here, Graves. As, again, the locking in of Vi into what was showing? Trundle, Aurora, and just slamming a full melee topside, like, that's a world that Trundle wants to live in. The Renekton pick, like, you're building a world that Renekton wants to live in. And then they get Corki, who gets to play into 3 champs that he was already able to interact in. Jin Rakan is not really a threatening lane, especially when you have Parukia finding a solo kill at level 2, or a 2v2 kill at level 2. I feel like Ultra Prime really drafted with the blinders on, as we like to say.
Yeah. When you think about the composition, or a composition that would be EDG's, it's something with a lot of range, a lot of poke, and something that kind of, like, dips and dives its way around fights to play with that range advantage that they might have. Nobody really has that on Ultra Prime. You know, the Jin has some like range, but it's not like consistent damage with the Deadly Flourishes. These guys got to be up close and personal to do what they want to do, and that's exactly what EDG kind of are planning for and what their champions are strong at. So
yeah, you're describing a world in where the Croc gets to be a very happy big Croc. That we like to see here in the LPL. And ZDZ piloting the Croc quite well in this one, as he has been making nothing but plays, utilizing that early Stride Breaker quite well, too.
I mean, when you have melee, you're playing the 4 melees, I'd be building Stride Breaker, too, kind of on a lot of different champions. Specifically for the Renekton, obviously makes a lot of sense here. So it's soul point now for EDG. They're able to
Look
pick
at the
that one
steel
up in the
caps.
past minute.
They're looking at the Galio damage and saying no.
They're just no damage, and maybe a little bit on the Jin.
Oh,
which is why
TP!
you go for these steel caps here, as EDG looking for a collapse on the bottom side. Zhong and XiaoXia in some trouble. Between Worlds comes through from Angel, and the heroic charge combined with that Pillar of Ice. Just so much to lock down Zhong, who's had a tough series overall.
I will say that's a pretty big commit for not too much. Galio's going to fix the top wave, and they should be able to catch that one. But they can't get camps on the bot side, and ZDZ is going to reset again. They can't really follow this play through. So it's not a max win here for EDG, but at least the graph so far thinking that this will end up in a max win for EDG as they're looking to start their split off with a rather resounding 2-0 over Ultra Prime, a team that we haven't seen in a while and has not been too promising in their opener here, Grapes, of Group Nirvana against EDG.
And I remember halfway through the Group Nirvana split last year, last split, Pick 2. Ultra Prime and EDG were tied at the top of the standings with a 2-1 record, and they both kind of went differing paths. After that, Ultra Prime ended up 2-3. I think EDG ended up either 3-2 or 4-1, where they were able to, of course, make it to that play-in stage, where eventually things didn't work out for them as in that stage. That's why they're back here in Nirvana, but. Two teams that kind of have taken those different trajectories. One with a little bit more veteran experience, the other one with some newcomers. And I think, we say it's going to take time with a roster like Ultra Prime's, being that you have a lot of players from the developmental systems. You have Baiye, XiaoXia, and Junhao now all came from BLG Youth, and some of these newer solo laners. But clock's ticking at this point, Cubby. They're going to have to start to pick up some wins as we get towards the back half of the year. If they want to have any chance of, generating any positive momentum, let alone even a trip to the playoffs.
Well, at least if you're Ultra Prime, any and all comeback mechanics may be able to be found in the Otacon. As Ultra Prime, just think of the Otacon. There's always money in the banana stand. There's always experience in the Otacon, right?
That is true.
Yeah, there's always a lot of experience in the Otacon. So we'll see if they can maybe find a miracle here and yoink this one away. As I think if you're EDG, you kind of want to ignore the Otacon right now, because guess what? Your Ocean Soul is spawning in 90 seconds, and frankly, there's no damage over on Ultra Prime's comp. So Ocean Soul looks pretty good this game.
Yeah, even if they start up the Dragon, it's going to take them like 3 to 5 business days to finish it off. So EDG's going to have plenty of time to be able to respond. And then maybe the delivery driver just, Xiaohao just runs in and steals it away. They win the fight. They get the Otacon. They 2-0 the series, which is seemingly the outcome that we are expecting at this point.
I appreciate the fact that we are on technically an unofficial broadcast, so I can be very honest about my thoughts on this draft. Maybe a little bit more honest than an official broadcast. Grapes.
Not a fan?
I think
we made that clear at this point.
I think we've been very vocal about that.
Yeah. As it is EDG actually starting up the Otacon. It's at half HP right now. We'll see if Junhao can go for the steal. Teleport is coming in here from Zhong. It looks like they're not going to go for the finish. Instead, they want the fight. As they hover the Otacon HP at around 5,000. ZDZ teleporting in with that dominance unlocked. That's a big old crocodile. Almost taking out XiaoXia on his own. Junhao will fall. Hero's entrance comes through, but it's going to be way too late. They might take down ZDZ, but the Croc will still live. Finally, the flash in will take him down, but it comes at the cost of Saber's life. The curtain call is going to be the curtains for Ultra Prime as EDG win a fight and can go right back to that Otacon or the Dragon.
Screw the Otacon, man. Dragon spawns in 15 seconds. The jungler is dead on the other side. Just take that, as On has enough health. Trundle looking to see if he can find any fruit for himself, and it's going to be a soul secured for EDG. As what an entrance to the fight from ZDZ there, Grapes.
Now this is a guy that has not been the greatest top laner overall here in the LPL, but big fan bases. I know there's probably a ton of emotes spamming in the chat right now, and he's having himself a pretty dang good series to kick off the LPL season. Player with a lot of promise, him and Xiaohao both being a part of some really promising rosters as recently as a year ago, looking to refine their footing, and ZDZ's doing just that here as they pick up the soul.
Good bunny hop from Angel, and love the entrance from ZDZ. Was already I will say, I think he should have waited to cast the ult until he got here, but the flash away from the Q to avoid that chain CC was fantastic, and what a big opener to the fight. Removed Rakan from it instantly, got the jungler. Yes, he goes down in the end, but that shutdown goes over to Galio. Who cares? As they were able to pick up the jungle and mid, and ZDZ with that TP pretty much ending any chance of a winning fight for Ultra Prime. Utilizing that Renekton and the Sterix well. Channeling some inner Blippo as NA fans ourselves. I think Blippo always gets a lot of mileage out of his Renekton when he's able to find those TP angles and big plays. And utilizing that Sterix that he loves. ZDZ doing a damn good job of that there.
I was about to say, speaking of Blippo, going to Sterix, second item, making sure he's as powerful as possible in the specific
right choice.
Team fights that can make or break the game. Sure, you might not do as much damage, but if you just stay alive a little bit longer, kind of increase that threshold of the amount of DPS that you can soak up, adding on to that with the Ocean Soul. Good time to be a Renekton at this point in the game, as the gold lead opened up to 4,500, and Edward Gaming looking very, very much poised to close out this first series in Group Nirvana.
He's always he's a very happy. Oh, all right, we're ratting.
Pop in the chat. Pop in the chat.
We're ratting.
ZDD indeed. As it is going to be a little bit of gold issued back here. As the objective bounties have been picked up here for Ultra Prime. They get one on the bottom lane, tier 1. But it's going to come at the cost of a tier 2 tower on the top side of the map. And Angel's doing a good job of making sure that mid wave is pushed in as well. Clocks are ticking. They're just biding their time for this Baron to eventually spawn, for the Elder to eventually spawn. And that's where EDG will likely finish this game.
What a great opener for Parukia and EDG here, Grapes. As I gotta say, Palkia's had two pretty solid games to debut as a rook here. I know Ultra Prime not the strongest team we have in the LPL, but I think Parukia has really tried to make plays. I would say I would maybe recommend not being level 3 when Grub spawn, but hey, we like the initiative and the willingness to make plays here in the LPL.
Hey, I mean, it's pretty impressive. A guy going straight from, I guess, is this solo queue a month ago, getting signed to that developmental team on Edward Gaming, playing okay for 4 games in that Asian Masters tournament, and then probably a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, being told, hey man, you're gonna play LPL after we just picked you up to like kind of be our developmental season. So big shoes that he would have to fill for somebody like Wink, and he's doing that right now. Of course, it is still in Group Nirvana. A lot more League of Legends to be played as an engage hasn't started up. As the cease and desist goes on to Amity, flashes right back to safety with the rest of his team. He will finally get taken down by that 4th shot, but it's already a big over-index here for Ultra Prime. They've used a ton of their ultimate abilities, and it comes at the cost of a 1-for-1. And now XiaoXia is going to be in some trouble. Angel chasing him down. One more Q will seal the deal, as it was not even enough to make it a numbers advantage here for Edward Gaming. They go in on to Baiye now in the mid lane. Xiaohao collects the kill, and it's 2 members still alive, as the solo laners are going to have to try and prevent this inhibitor from going down.
Those solo laners, okay, I think Parukia might be going down. Oh, never mind, turret died. And the Ocean Soul is going to be working overtime here against the minimal damage team of Ultra Prime, as Goodbye Grandma and Bessa going to fall. And mid inhibitor going to fall as well.
This is brutal. Hey, we get a good old-fashioned one-sided victory potentially here in game number 2. And I know it's only 1 series, Cubby, but now the question becomes, how far can EDG go with this new roster set up here? I know they had some good momentum
like
at the end of the season. Looks like they're going to try to finish this one up quickly. Nice flash away from Junhao, but now XiaoXia is in a whole lot of trouble. Xiaohao burning the flash.
That man's played.
To get into chop range onto this Rakan. You can question how worth it really is, but right now they're just potting those KDAs.
It's about sending a message, as Constable Trundle gonna find the kill. Dead man's plate applied. We used to call that strode back in the day. When you have the red flames flying out from the back, is the dead man's plate gives the Trundle. And that chop from the troll is going to spell the doom of the support and spell the doom of the big purple worm, as Junhao going to have to see if he can find any heroics. And as the how far can EDG go? Grapes, that's a decent shout. I mean, they were top 2 in Group Nirvana last split. Got to earn that play-in spot for the playoffs. Of course, 2 stronger teams now going to find their way into Group Nirvana. Have to see if EDG can prove they're at the top of the table with Parukia.
Parukia
Good
going
play.
for the stun of the Junhao.
Very nice.
Flash heroic charge takes him down. Baiye down as well. Baron was kited away from it, but hey, they want to just extend this game, soak in the glory of victory just a little bit longer. As it will be eventually the big purple worm going down to the 10,000 plus gold lead, opening up for Edward Gaming.
Ultra Prime looks a little depressed. I don't know. I think Baiye is seeing if he's got any crumbs on his keyboard there in the player cam. As this has not been a very competitive game. I do not think they did themselves any favors in the draft. Nope. If we are being honest. No. Hey, at least for Trundle. Good game from him. Angel, I am appreciating the triple mask build into the health stacking top side that he sees in a low damage comp. I think that's actually the right game to go for this build. Well done. And, wow, Elder Dragon actually spawned this game. I will say I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Perfect timing for EDG to... Hey, now they're just playing out the fundamentals, right? They're doing the basics. They know they have this game in the bag.
Oh, grapes. True fundamentals would be you ended the game before Elder spawns, but maybe we're just drilling
practicing.
More.
Yeah, we're drilling our Elder setups here as Parukia now pretty invincible at this point, going into 4 members of Ultra Prime and not taking a lick of meaningful damage. It's going to be a nice taunt here from XiaoXia to buy a little bit of time, but Angel comes in on the flank with that Between Worlds. Baiye has said goodbye here in the bottom side. Only Zhang will live, but not for long. The Pillar will seal his fate. A double kill in for On as Edward Gaming will pick up a dominant game number 2 win and pick up the first series victory of the LPL Split 3.
Congrats to Xiaohao, the 2-0 on his birthday, and congrats to Parukia finding a 2-0 in his rookie debut. Signed his first contract for the LDL less than a month ago for EDG. Already finds himself on the main LPL stage and looking damn good, a part of the 2-0.
And I mean, it was a very dominant 2-0 over Ultra Prime, who again, still have some season left, but it's been a while with this core of players running together. Gonna have to find some positive momentum quickly if they want to have themselves a chance at that play-in stage that they were not able to reach last time around. And now you take a look at this Edward Gaming roster, Cubby. Seems like Parukia, instead of Wink, might not be the biggest concern, at least yet. Obviously, there's the whole honeymoon phase whenever a new player comes in and things like that, but when you think about the rest of the teams that are here in this group of Nirvana, one of the teams that made it into that play-in stage was LGD. They've lost Nayo. They're one of their best players. You take a look at ThunderTalk. They lost Beishuan halfway through the season. All of a sudden, some of the pieces and some of the teams around in Group Nirvana maybe have gotten a little bit weaker. Of course, except for maybe the NIP roster, where I think we all agree did upgrade going into split number 3. I think EDG are in a very good place just based off of their competition, and also if they continue to play this way.
Yeah, I mean, again, they gave us a lot to root for, frankly, in that one. And I know that we don't have the roster confirmed yet for LGD, but hoping that they can have good looks again, as we're expecting Climber to be back in. Speaking of some LDL power, as of course that core were able to actually win the LDL over there on LGD, but the core of Ultra Prime, that BLG youth core that did take top 4 playing together between Junhao, Baiye, and XiaoXia, not finding the success they wanted to in this one. Do you think that if I'm the coaching staff, maybe go back to the drawing board on that Game 2 draft? They really tried to force something that wasn't there into the Trundle, but hey, if you're EDG, I thought Angel looked really good this series. Parukia, again, in his debut as a rookie, had a really solid one, made the game-winning engage on Rel in Game 1, and was all over the map in a really good Poppy game for Game 2. And also ZDZ, as you highlighted a couple times, Grapes, didn't have this split that we wanted to see from him last split and split 2. That's a really good start to split 3 for him and EDG in this one.
And again, it feels like this roster's got a little sauce in them that we didn't see to their fullest potential in split number 2. Of course, it goes down to a couple of underperformances in that play-in stage. That means that they're outside of Group Ascend, which, you know, we get very different perceptions of these teams based off of just those couple of best of series that they played in that qualification stage to get into those groups. And now that they have some other teams that, you know, did make those that Group Ascend, did play against some of those top teams last split, maybe we'll see a little bit more of what this EDG roster does have to offer, because you think about, again, some of the players on this team, it's a roster full of veterans, right? On has been part of IG for the last 3 years. Angels made it to Worlds Finals. You have ZDZ and Xiaohao that have been kind of paired up together over the last couple of years on some, you know, not bad teams that have made it to top 8, you know, like Weibo. This is a team that can maybe pull it together if, of course, they continue to play like they did today against Ultra Prime.
It's fair to say that this is a team that we expect to be in that play-in stage in playoffs. And I will say that for Group Nirvana, I think seeding does really matter. We saw last split the seeding for that play-in stage. I mean, I think IG was there. You didn't want to face that team if you were the lowest seeded team from Group Nirvana. I do think that taking the 1 seed out of this group could really matter by the end of the regular season when we do hop into playoffs. As check that out. We do have a happy birthday for Xiaohao, and I will say a very nice 2-0 as Parukia, for me, is still a real standout in this series. I don't think he's going to be MVP for this game, Grapes, but honestly, a real argument to give him MVP for the series. A pretty convincing rookie debut for him. Gonna have to see what we can do against some stiffer competition later on in the split, but hey, hell of a start.
Just get to see that flash play again. ZDZ giving himself a compelling case as well. I feel like everybody kind of just did their job well enough here in this game. ZDZ actually maybe falling behind the most in the laning phase, or just kind of staying even compared to the rest of his team. I don't know exactly what you think about who should run away with this one.
Renekton should be up, I'd say, 100 to 85 in that matchup. So I think it was a little bit closer than what it should have been. But hey, the team fights, ZDZ had great TPs and destroyed those team fights in a game where Renekton's really happy. So I think that's a very fair one.
I'm trying to think if anyone, I mean, everyone else, like, I don't know, Angel played fine. Xiao had some nice pillars, but
I thought Angel quietly actually played really nice. Again, me, MVP for the series, I'd honestly give it to Parukia. In terms of this game as an individual, would maybe, I think that I'd give it to Parukia. I thought Angel was MVP of game 1. This one, I'm more on the Parukia train.
I mean, he had more flashy plays, it seemed like, in this game that he kind of initiated on his own. It felt like a lot of the time in game 1, it was Angel that started off with the Tibbers, and then Parukia would follow that up with a Magna Storm or something like that. This time around, a lot of the Poppy show, which again, you don't always see Poppy as this big primary engaged threat, but definitely played like it here today.
Yeah. Oh, we got a coach cam. I'm going to assume that's EDG, who's got some high fives.